Alright, everybody. Here we go again. Some more Mario. So here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna try and do this a slightly different way. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play through, standard style or whatever. However, I'm gonna fast forward this part of the video. So you don't have to watch me play levels 1 through whatever again. Because I don't know if you want to or not. But here's the deal, you can let me know. So if you're like, no man, that's the charm, is watching the whole thing in regular speed, you let me know. If the whole thing is like, yeah, thank you. Thank you for not watching me, making me suffer through you suffering through that again. Then everyone should be pretty happy with this plan. So, I'm talking right now, and then the plan here is that, then I will make the alteration. I'll speed up the video, and probably when I stop talking here is when the video should be back to its normal thing. It should be back, like the video and the audio will sync back up. So I'll record, but the video and audio doesn't necessarily sync up, and then it will sync up again later. When I'm at, a more challenging spot in the game. Capiche? Capoopsh? Kayurinche? Oh, what the fuck. Sorry, I screwed up a thing with a door. Okay. We'll see you in a few worlds. Okay, so we're back. Now, to the traditional style. This is 3-3. Which is, I would say, when it has begun to be pretty difficult for me. Well, we missed out on some pretty hilarious bloops as I was playing the game this time. I had a lot of trouble with doors. I made some discoveries. For example, that if you go down a vine when you are inside when you're in the upside down realm, if you are to go down a vine that goes to the next area, you die. So if you vine in the upside down, you die in real life. There was also one where I put a ladder a door right next to a ladder, and what ended up happening is I couldn't go in the door, I just kept going up the ladder, so I missed a door that way. And then there was a third door that I fucked up somehow that I'm not really I don't exactly recall. But there was a wide variety and diversity of ways to fuck up the whole door situation. And I was really proud of myself because I was like, you found some new ways to do this. If I wasn't such a lazy streamer, I would have just done a little montage of that. But, I am such a lazy streamer, so that's not going to happen, unfortunately. Also, if I was a decent streamer, I wouldn't tell you about the things that I'm not going to be doing, right? That would be a silly thing to do. But, in more ways than one, I am not good at this, and so there you have it. We've reached the boss. So that's good news. And then I know this guy will get blown up eventually. I think probably this time around. So, that's my strategy there. I would say that this playthrough has been not great, but not terrible. I've struggled at some parts. Now it's like I don't remember how to do this. It's not like that. It is that. There we go. But I haven't struggled mightily. I've struggled wussily. and not made it through unscathed, but you know, I haven't taken any continues. And I have more than 3 lives still, so that's pretty good for me. And yeah, we're back. We're back in action, I guess. I still haven't figured out the casino game, despite what it may appear. So yeah, now we're entering World 4, which I would say is definitively still fairly difficult for me. But yeah, I don't know, I couldn't decide, because, you know, when my older brother was visiting the last time, he was kind of like, you know, most people who do the thing that you're doing, this streaming business, will, like, not stream the whole thing, not force people to watch the whole thing. And I'm like, I don't know, I think my brand is kind of about more of me than you really wanted, you know? And what do I have to offer the world that's different than what others offer? And I was like, well, number one, I'm not good at the games, so I feel like that gives me an edge. A disappointing edge. Shit. Yes! Look at that. It gives the viewer maybe something unexpected. If you're tuning into this for the first time, I probably won't succeed. Oh, I guess I didn't talk about in the intro either what this is exactly. I'm Pete, and this is Mario Before 40. The idea is, like, I'm turning 40 this year, and I was like, you know, I want to beat some... Oh, that guy's trapped in an eternal hell. I wanted to, you know, I was like wanting to beat some Mario games before I turn elderly, and was like, you know, I gotta believe that, you know, your ability to play video games probably is not improving in your 40s. I mean, it's probably peaks in your, like, late teens, early 20s, right? But a couple of years ago, I got the NES Classic, which is a little story. But I got the Classic, and so I played a bunch of games that I hadn't played since I was a kid. Like Castlevania and Ghosts and Goblins and stuff, and I was able to, like, finish those games. And I couldn't finish Ninja Gaiden, but I got to the last boss, which was something. You know, and much better than I was doing as a child at these games. And, you know, I don't think it's necessarily because I'm a better player. And there's certainly a factor to this of, like, well, I used to play these games a lot because, you know, I had a lot of time to devote to them as a youngin'. And now I don't have as much time. So it's like, it is easier to play these games when you know everything that's going to happen, right? When you know this is where the bad guy is, this is where the mushroom is, this is where the potion is. You just know, right? Anyway, so I just figured, like, why not try and beat some of these games before I'm elderly? Maybe this is my last chance to do so. So, here we are. And I started with the first Mario game, Super Mario Brothers, and am now, you know, on Mario 2, and we'll go to Mario 3, Super Mario World. I might, you know, I don't know what the Game Boy, where those fit in. I feel like they may be before... The first one has to be before Super Mario World, I think, but I'm not totally sure. So that might actually be after Mario 3. That might actually be next. I don't know. Point being, you know, basically main canon Mario games. And, like, if I feel like goofing around, I guess... Oh, I'm not going to get this star, because I learned previously that when you have the star, you can't be on the spouts. So that doesn't really help you out. Main canon Mario games, so I'm not including Mario Karts, not including, like, I don't know, Mario Soccer game or whatever, or Mario at the Olympics with Sonic. probably, you know, I'm not going to worry about those games. I might end up like playing some of those games or something as this project goes on, just kind of for funsies. Just kind of for funsies, right? But I'm not going to worry about beating those games, and I'm not going to make it a huge portion of this. Anyway, so yeah, just kind of playing through them in order and having I was going to say having a good time, but that's not realistic. I'm having a time with them. I'm spending time with them. I guess part of it too was like trying to appreciate some of these games. Because, you know, I have to say, like, I did gain an appreciation for some of these Nintendo games with the NES Classic. And like the NES Classic, I think, you know, has its pluses and minuses, but overall, I think it's great. I've had a ton of fun with it. It definitely feels like the old Nintendo. It's got a couple little nice things in it. The collection of games is pretty good. I think part of why I enjoyed it, so my partner Poonmaster Flex, her dad got it for me, because he's into Christmas and enjoys like gift giving around that time of year, and I think he enjoys like a challenge. You know what I mean? He wants to get something that's hard to find. I mean, I know this because she's told me this and we've talked about it, and you know, it's like it's a fun thing for him. It's like a quest. So when the NES Classic was coming out, it was pretty hard to find in stores. You know, it was in high demand and stuff, and it was kind of like the big gift for that Christmas season, right? So it wasn't like a sure thing by any means. It wasn't like, I'm assuming now you can just get one, you know, and you could get them on like Amazon or something, but they were like outrageously priced. And I was telling, you know, I wanted this for Christmas, but I was like, listen, don't buy this for like $250, okay? It's too much. So if you can find one for a good price, I would love to have it, but you know, don't break the bank on it. I'll get it eventually. So, her dad, damn it. Oh God. Her dad, what he ended up doing was somehow getting in touch with someone who worked at like a warehouse at a Walmart. And basically somehow convinced this guy to call him if they got one in. And the guy was like, okay, I'll call you if I get one in. Probably he said something like, you know, it's my daughter's boyfriend. He really wants one. And this guy's probably picturing like, oh, that's cute. He's probably like 12. Not like in his mid-30s. But, you know, he would like this gift for Christmas and I'd like to get it for him. So, you know, if you can help me out, that would be awesome. So at one point, and you know, this was, he'd called around to a bunch of stores and tried to sort of arrange this with multiple stores. And, you know, had no luck. So he finally did it, but it wasn't like the closest by Walmart or something. And so one night the guy calls him and he's like, hey, I got your thing. It's coming in tonight. If you can get here, you know, between like 10 and 11 tonight, I will have it for you. And so her dad was like, right on. He probably didn't say right on. He doesn't seem like a guy who says right on, but he said, okay, will do. And, you know, made his way there, got it that night. And, you know, the rest is history. So it's kind of, it was fun to get it. It was like a extra little, you know, bonus situation for me and for him. You know, and I'm not trying to sit here and tell you like it was so awesome for him to be able to give me a gift. I just mean like, you know, it sparked some joy for him to be able to do that. And so, you know, and it was like a nice gift. And he also has had experiences with, you know, Nintendo and Nintendo games. Like when Poonmaster Flex and I started dating, I was trying to play the original Zelda because I'd never played through that either. And, you know, she gave me, he had left behind at some point like a guidebook for Zelda, and it had like hand-drawn maps in it, you know, that he had made to try and finish the game. So, you know, he had a love for that too, and it just, yeah, I don't know, it was kind of a fun way for us to connect on something, I guess. Connect might be too strong a word, but you know what I mean. So yeah, it's like a little bit of an extra, you know, the classic was kind of a fun extra thing for us. And you know, definitely has sparked some of this project as well, just because like I've wanted to play the games on the classic, you know, and like beat as many of them as I can and so on, because, you know, I'm obsessive that way. But also, like, you get to a place in life, right, where you're like, there are more video games that I want to play than video games I'm going to play, right? Like, at some point, life takes a turn, and you sort of have, like, more things to do with life than you have life. Maybe this is like the maudlin turning 40 portion of this, right? Where it's like, you know, when I add a book to my to-read list, sometimes I'm just like, this is turning into the trail of things that Pete never accomplished in life. 5-1, we did it. I think we got to 6 last time, if I remember correctly. And you know, so it's like, I don't know, it feels good to like go back and play games, and it's not like I have to beat every game, you know, I'm not obsessive in that way, but it's more like I have these little audiobook cases. So if you've ever gotten an audiobook from the library, you know what I'm talking about. It's like a CD case where, you know, it's got, it's a multiple CD case, like a plastic clamshell thing that holds multiple discs. Damn it. And at some point when I was working at the library, I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get these to store all my video games in. Oh, shit. I am losing lives at a rapid pace. I'm going to get some of these clamshells to store like movies and CDs and especially video games in. Because I was like, all these games are discs and I have all the cases, but you know, they're not like convenient to store. And I was like, I could store like 20 discs in the space of probably 3 or 4 if I did it this way. So I asked the collections department, I was like, hey, will you order some of these for me? I just want to buy them for personal use. And they were like, sure. And they were like, how many do you want? And I was like, I don't know, like 20, which was way too many. By the way, way more than I needed. Although I guess I was like at the time thinking, well, you know, I might not have access to get the same kind again. So you might as well get a good number now, so that if you need to store more in the future, you'll have the option, right? Okay, I remember this, I think. So that's what I did. I got more than I needed, thinking for the future. Not exactly the most... Damn it, that's what I wanted it for. Not the way I always do business, but you know, this time I did do business that way. So I put a bunch of games. I kind of tried to do like Xbox 360 games, Wii games, you know, give each thing sort of its own space, although that didn't totally work out because I often had more games than could be accommodated that way. And then I made like cover art for it, you know, and did things like take the side and I put all the games that are in there on the side of it. So it's a pretty little organized system. It's not bad. And I think it would look nice on a shelf if I had it on a shelf where, you know, they were out. Because that was one thing I was like, I don't know, you have all these disparate things, they're all different sizes, and I didn't love that. And I was like, well, maybe the best thing is if you just made them all uniform. You know, and they kind of are the same size and look similar. Damn. And that'll make you happy. That's everything in this life, right? Maybe if I do this, I'll be happy. If it makes you happy, you're probably just deluding yourself. That's how the song goes, right? If it makes you happy, you're probably lying to yourself. I mean, one of these is going to be a Whoa. No? Okay, well, that's good. So the point of me telling you that whole long-winded story about my video game storage system is that, you know, in the process of doing that, I was like putting all these video games away and was kind of like, you know, I have a lot of games. Is this the tube that I couldn't figure out? Yeah. Okay. What did I try? So if I throw this down in here, it doesn't work. That's what I learned last time. Ha ha ha. So as I put these things together, I was kind of like, man, like I have a lot of games. Like I got an Xbox 360. Oh. I got an Xbox 360 like pretty late in that console's life cycle. The reason being, I was broken up with by a girlfriend, and that girlfriend had gotten me a Wii, which was pretty cool. But, you know, I took a look at my life and realized there's nothing left. No. I took a look at my life and was like, you know, I think the Wii is a console that's really meant for playing with other people. And I did always feel like that was the strength of the Wii. As a thing, was like, it's very fun to play, damn it, multiplayer games on that thing. And to play against other people and that stuff, like, I think that's where that thing really shines. Whereas, you know, like, the Xbox, I was like, this is where you play games that, you know, you play alone in your house and maybe get called, like, a racial slur or slur for gay person, or any number of slurs. And, you know, it had been a long time since I'd had something like that in my life. Something like the opportunity to be called the bad F word for gay person. And I was like, gee, I guess I should invite that back into my life at some point. I guess that's what I was thinking. I don't know, I'm trying to reverse engineer my thought process. But basically it was like, I felt like, you know what, the Wii is for people with friends. You don't have friends anymore, including a girlfriend, so the Wii is not for you. So I got an Xbox, but it was fairly late in the console cycle, which turned out to be great, because, like, the first games I bought were Gears of War 1 and maybe 2, and I think Gears of War 1 cost me, like, $5. Like, not even exaggerating, $5. And, you know, like a new game these days, I don't know how much they cost on 360, because I don't know if I bought any games new on the 360, so I wouldn't be able to say. But I think they cost around $60. And, you know, it was kind of awesome to buy a bunch of games for $5. And basically, when I got my 360, I was living in this world where I was like, well, everybody else is like, you know, kind of like, that's yesterday's news, right? And so I was getting to have all these fun video game experiences that, you know, they'd already had. And I was getting to have them very inexpensively. All this is to say, I spent a pretty good amount of money on video games. But not like a crazy amount of money. More, it's just like I had a pretty good collection of games that, you know, many of which I had never really played, or, you know, played briefly and was like, well, that was $5, so, you know, I'm not really concerned about quote unquote getting my money's worth here. So maybe I would play and then just be like, fuck it. You know, because it just, for whatever reason, that game didn't, like, light a fire on me or whatever. Light a fire on me? Didn't turn into a McDonald triad situation on me, so I was like, fuck it. You know. And I guess, you know, more recently, and so when I did that sorting project, and especially more recently, I was like, you know, at this point in your life, you have way more of this than you're gonna get to, I think. So, like, let's think about, Pete, how you're going to live the rest of your life, and, like, maybe you should play some of the games you have, you know, maybe you should be your own mom for a second and do the whole, we have video games at home thing. Because I'm like, no, we do have video games at home, and they're not even bad, you know what I mean? I had good video games available to me, games that many people loved very much that I had never played. It's not like I'm saying, you know, I could play some crappy game that, is, you know, I don't know, a 6 out of 10 or something. I have a whole collection of games that are like 10 out of 10 games, you know, that just I didn't get to until a little later than most people. Anyway, isn't it weird how things in life are like that, though? Where it's like, I don't know, you're like, I have these things at home. I have these things I want to do. You know, it's just like a sort of mixture of those sorts of factors all the time. I don't know, I find that fascinating for some reason. Just like, you live this life where you're like, I've got all these things at home, but I do kind of, you want to like do the things you've got at home, but then you also want to do, you know, the new things. And it's like, maybe this is part of too, like, so, you know, there's this broader idea, I think, of culture right now, which is like, there's less of what you would call a monoculture now than there used to be. This is kind of a theory that I think is really well explained by Chuck Klosterman's The 90s. And I really recommend that book. It's really good. And it talks a lot about monoculture and the idea of monoculture and how that works. But also, you know, like a lot of the book is kind of about how maybe the 90s was the last time we really had and may ever have a monoculture. And what that means is like, we're all having a cultural experience that's somewhat similar. And so, like, don't mistake that for, like, dominant culture necessarily, and don't mistake it for, like, if you're not having that experience, you're doing something wrong or something. It's more about, like, you know, if you grew up in the 90s, you could sort of reasonably expect that the albums you listen to are the albums most of your contemporaries have also heard. Whereas, like, and so the end of the monoculture is kind of about, like, that doesn't really exist in the same way anymore. So in other words, like, you know, I work and travel in the world of books a lot, right? And one time I looked at sort of, you know, just kind of experimented and looked at best-selling books from the 90s versus now. And what was interesting is in decades past, it was very common for like the same books and the same authors to be on the sort of bestseller list for like the entire year. And so in a 52-week year, and New York Times puts out bestseller list every week, you might have the top 10 would change, but it would be fairly similar throughout the year, and you wouldn't have 520 different books on there, right? Even though that represents 520 possible slots for books to be in. And as time has gone on, so, you know, I would estimate there was something like, in the 90s, it would be common to have something like, of 520 slots, maybe there'd be like 50 some books in those slots. Whereas in the current age, it's way more common for, I would say, to have closer to like 350 books in those various slots. So it's like a really different setup where a lot of us aren't experiencing the same things. And so something, you know, and that has its good and bad thing. You know, I think that obviously the bad thing about monoculture, right, is if you're not part of the monoculture, in other words, if you're not interested in what most people are interested in, it kind of sucks for you. And also, you know, things that are of quality but just aren't popular kind of fade into the background a little bit, right? And that's not good. Things that deserve more of a spotlight don't necessarily get that spotlight. That said, oh God, I don't know how to beat this guy. That's what we learned last time. Guessing I have to get these rocks that are rolling around. The rolling rocks, the beers. Fuck. Well, I've got some chances. That's the good news. Yes. Hope I don't have to hit him 5 times. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Wow. Okay, so let me say the downside I see of more pluralistic culture is, for example, if you were a person who read, you know, a fair amount, you don't have to be like the world's top reader. You don't have to be like the winner of your library's summer reading contest or something. But, you know, you're like, oh yeah, I read. I'm a hobbyist reader. Like, I read, I don't know, 5 to 10 books a year. If you went to a party and met someone who also reads a similar amount, there's a pretty good chance in a monoculture that you've read the same books. You and this other. Yes! Yes! I think we've achieved a new record. Ho ho ho. I don't think I beat that guy last time, right? I feel like I'll figure it out pretty quickly in World 6-1. So in the monoculture, there was, if you went to this party, you met someone else who reads, you know, some, and you read some, there was a good chance that, that you would have read some of the same books. Maybe not all, but you know, if there's 50 books on the top 10, and you're both kind of hobbyists, and you know, you read like things that have made a big splash, or you know, whatever. There's a good chance that you've read some of the same books, so you can talk about those books. And so, you know, what's good about that is obviously like, well, part of, you know, what books, movies, video games, arts, things, part of what it's all about, right, is like sharing experiences. And, you know, part of what's, I think, good about monoculture, that, you know, can kind of get lost in discussions of this stuff because, you know, when we discuss it, it's like, well, monoculture is bad because it suppresses subculture. But I'm like, well, on the other hand, though, monoculture can be the vehicle by which subculture emerges. In other words, us reading the same book, me and you, and then sharing our differing opinions on it can be a way to, you know, can be a way that subculture, that subculture is expressed, right? I don't know what the hell to do here. Oh, shit. Okay. Well, how many of these? Well, that one looked pretty promising. Damn it. These little snakes and their bullets really do, I feel like I never got the rhythm down with them. I can't believe ducking works. Ducking never works. It's like over here somewhere. So, you know, one of the ways that subculture can be expressed is through its interpretation of monoculture. This is getting like really academic for a video of me playing Mario 2, but you know, such is life. So, and then I think the other thing though, and so it is harder, I think, to talk about cultural things when we haven't experienced the same culture. And, you know, so to me, this is about like, well, hey, there's something to be said for like plurality and like having more options and all that. I think that can be good. I also think sometimes it's not good. Sometimes it like causes it, you know, it's like there's just no free lunch, right? Like sometimes something that's good also has a drawback. And I think that video game culture, I think music suffered from it the most financially. Oh my God, this is a fucking nightmare. Okay, I just need to start. So I've done 1. It's not 1. I think the music industry suffered more than the video game industry, right? Like with the way music sold, you know, like the sort of demise of pop music. Is there a way to get this off of here without getting hit? Okay, this is 3. Promising. Pop music is, I think, important to music sales. And so I think that was probably a difficult thing for the music industry to endure, was like, hey, you know, before we used to be able to put out an album and like, I don't know, a third of people who bought music would buy it because it's like, well, it's a pop album. It's not 3. It's not 4, 5, 6. And then, you know, it was like, well, okay. Now we can't do that, right? Like a third of people I don't think a third of music buyers buy anything anymore, right? Like, there's probably not those big successes like there used to be. But I think the video game culture kind of suffered from that in some ways a little bit worse. And I think the reason is because, like, a lot of the culture around video games was really hinged on people playing the same games. And so when people weren't playing the same games anymore, okay, so this is whatever, one past the tall one. When people weren't playing the same games anymore, well, this is the third one past the tall one. I think this might be the one I already did, but okay, I'll say it again, but you know, hopefully this will be the last time. When people weren't playing the same games anymore, they didn't have those common touchstones, and that meant they couldn't really talk about games the way they used to. Shit. And I do think that was a loss for that community. Okay, I think I was here, right? No. Okay. Is this where I was? Probably. I'm almost positive I did that one. Motherfucker. This is horrible. I hate this. Oh my god. I'm not gonna pull this up because I don't know how to not get hit. So I'll save those for last. Jesus, this is terrible. Whoever did this is a bastard. Because this is literally just like memorization, right? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I see a mask. That makes it seem awfully likely that I'm gonna find a key. So this is 4 beyond the thing with the thing on it. Jesus, that was awful. I'm angry that that existed. Fuck. So, and I think that that's where video games lost something important, was when they couldn't really, you couldn't really bank on like, well, everybody's played the new whatever. Because, like, even if I hadn't played, I didn't play much Zelda as a kid, but, like, I was familiar with the idea. I was familiar with the tropes. I knew the basic mechanics of the game, I knew. Oh, wait, hang on. I gotta write this down. I think it was fourth one past plugged vase. Hopefully I'll remember that. Like what that means. I was familiar with the ideas of Zelda, right? And like kind of the basics of how it worked. And like what the fun factor of it was. You know what I mean? All that shit. And so I think that made talking about video games and like playing video games and, you know, the video game culture was more fun. It was more varied. There was more to do in the culture. And like, you know, the idea of a Nintendo Power existing today is kind of silly because you'd be like, well, it's only going to cover Nintendo. Like, I don't really need that. So I don't know. Anyway, what? This is a living nightmare already. Fuck, fuck, fuck. What is this? This is horrible. I hate it. I'm just gonna stay on this guy. I'm not falling for that one. Fuck. Oh my god. This is like the most intense thing that I've done with my life as an adult. Ooh, I hated that. If this is really the end of the level, that would make me pretty happy. Alright, asshole. That was the whole level? That was so short. Okay, 6-3. We've got 3 more levels, as I understand it. Now, I do understand that level 7-1 is like a real bastard of a level. So, I'm getting ready for that. It would be nice to make it there. I don't want to put my pressure on myself, but if I could make it there, play it a few times, you know, that would probably help. This is a scary cave. Why is this door so big? Is that mocking me for being little Mario right now? They blew up their own pot. Excellent. Fuck. Oh, that was brutal. In some ways, maybe better to be little Mario at this juncture, but... So, you know, okay. All this long talk of monoculture and subculture aside, I'm betting one of those on the left is a potion. Something I like about playing these Mario games is these do feel like games that I could, like, talk to other people about. And, like, you know, they've probably had experiences with these games. And that's kind of a fun thing. And something that, you know, is definitely not omnipresent in my life these days. Like, you know, when I was a kid, it was like, yeah, you would talk to kids about some of the same games. And, you know, of course you didn't have, like, all the same games as some other kid, but you would usually have something. Fuck. Ah! What is happening? Where did this ladybug go? I was gonna jump up on it. Okay. Well, maybe I can do this. This is like... Okay, this is a section that I'm gonna give the game designers some credit for, because they could have made this, you know, a pit that kills me. And that, you know, would have been... I would have just lost like 5 lives trying to figure that shit out. But they didn't, so... that makes me happy. Oh, bastard. Rat bastard. This is like, this whole time I've been playing these, I've been like, you know, my greatest weapon is my patience as an adult player of games. And I'm like, this is really trusting my greatest weapon here. All right. That wasn't awful. I mean, my performance wasn't good, but the section was not awful. Well, this one shoots eggs. Damn it! Pete, how many times have we gone through this? No ducking. Okay, I'm almost at the boss, aren't I? That's pretty exciting. All right. Here we go. Boss fight. Is this my snake friend again? Okay. And the fireballs go right through that thing, huh? Oh, I see. And I'm guessing I gotta hit him 5 times this time instead of 3. So if you don't get him a couple times here, you're kind of shit out of luck, huh? Ugh. Oh, I thought I had him. Okay. 4 or 5. How many blocks are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. So you can miss twice. Shit. Well, you could miss more than twice and still win is the good news. Maybe I should build like a little thing for myself up here. Little protective area. That seems like actually not terrible strategy. Because if you put one right there, if you put those 2 there, looks like you would kind of block most of the fireballs, right? Ugh. Shit. So I gotta start all over, huh? Fuck. Ugh. Don't like that. So anyway, I don't know. That was I gave a long speech about nonsense, but you know, that speech about nonsense, I guess, was really just about, like, you know, in the most basic form, it's kind of like having Spotify is cool, because, like, it is cool that you can just sort of hear whatever you want whenever you want. Like, it's a music lover's dream in some ways. In some ways, it's a nightmare, because, you know, now that you can hear all this music, but it's almost like, you know, no one actually gave us this choice. But it's like a little bit like a Twilight Zone episode where it's like you could hear all the music you want whenever you want for free, but you'll never be able to talk to anyone else about it. And, you know, like, no one will care. And that will become your life. Or, you know, it's like, well, what if you could read all the books and it's, you know, that guy whose glasses get broken? It's like, I think the real version of that in my mind is more like Twilight Zone. He's in the vault, his glasses get broken. He's like, now I have time to read all the books in the world. His glasses break, and then he's like, ah, shit. Now I can't read. Which you're like, I mean, you could probably find an optometrist shop somewhere, right? But oh god, that was so lucky. Maybe the modern version, the Black Mirror version of that is like, well, you've got access to all this stuff. You're playing all these games, you're listening to all these music, you're watching all these movies, but none of it will anyone else have ever seen. It's like entirely individual to you. And then, in a weird way, this is like Pete's unifying theory of, you know, why too much plurality is bad. In a weird way, talking about music, movies, and other media becomes almost like talking about your dreams. In that it's like, you know, other people can't experience your dream with you. Like, this is, I think, why it's not interesting to hear about dreams. Partially because they don't really mean anything, probably. We can talk about dreams some other time. I guess we should, because this game, I understand the ending of it is that it's all a dream. But talking about media becomes like, oh my god, talking about dreams? This quicksand has gotten much quicker. It's funny that they named quicksand that way. Ooh, that sand is really quick. Fudge. 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 That little guy has really wrecked my shit, hasn't he? So it becomes like a dream because it's like every song that you hear is something no one else will experience. And, you know, you're like, it was sort of like this, and then it was like this, and then this happened. Or, you know, like, we all know describing a movie to somebody is not the same as watching the movie yourself, right? Like, it just doesn't work the same way. And, you know, sometimes language fails us when we're trying to describe something like that, which is like why movies exist. Because it's like, well, yeah, there's got to be other ways to express things other than just the straight up expression of the fuck. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm gonna confirm. I think it's 4 past this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what I wrote down. Yes. Okay. Good. Whew. So, I don't know, I think a world where talking about any sort of art or media or whatever becomes the same as talking about a dream presents a challenge for those of us who enjoy that art. And video games, I think, are, you know, definitely in that realm currently. And something that was, okay, it's bad that, you know, like, an average person couldn't make their own video game, right? Like, I don't necessarily... Obviously, I don't think that's, like, a great thing. I think it's good that people could make their own games at some point. And, like, putting the means of production in the hands of the people is a good thing, in general, in my opinion. However, I do sometimes feel that... Oh, my patience didn't work. I sometimes feel that, because there's so much now, it just isn't the same. Well, so there you go. That was a philosophical discussion. I guess tune in next time to see me. I got pretty close this time. You know what I mean? Like, I'm impressed with myself. And I'm feeling like maybe Mario 2 is a beatable game for Pete. Although I still haven't made the horrors of World 7 yet, so we'll have to see. But I'm feeling good about this. So I guess next time, stay tuned for an exciting discussion of dreams, because I have thoughts and opinions about dreams. So if I haven't managed to repel you yet, buckle up.